I was at goddamn SGA when he told us about it. I know.
I'll probably say it. I might go after the. Yeah, no later.
Yeah, I is. Yes. I think that's what I think we should. Literally, that's exactly what I
If there are no objections, we'll approve the minutes as distributed. Are there any students here for a forum? So we do have a couple of presenters this evening. Our first presenter is Mr. Richard Hammond with Campus Recreation. So if there are no objections, I'll suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow him to present.
All right, thank you very much. So we'll put a PowerPoint on there for y'all. I didn't give you the whole entire PowerPoint because I don't want to print it and give out that many sheets. So if she wants to make a copy of that and send it out in the minutes, that's fine with me. I'm good with that. I just gave you the last couple of sheets, which is really going to be the factor of what you might vote on in the future or some decisions you have to make on. So I didn't want to give the whole thing. I'm mostly Richard Hammond, Director of Campus Integration. This is Rob Stein. He's our new Assistant Director of the Challenge Course. We hired him this fall. So he actually he just came up from grad school from the University of Southern Mississippi. So he's here and he'll be helping me with the presentation. And I'll touch some at the end to go over some things with y'all. So I'll let Rob take it over.
Well, hello everyone. First I want to start off with kind of an introduction. UCA wants to put together a challenge course with Campus Recreation. So I want to cover what is a challenge course, what the purpose of a challenge course would be, how it can be used here at UCA, what are the potential impacts, what is Campus Recreation offering to you. Okay, so slide 2. A challenge course is a series of carefully designed obstacles and facilitated interactive events in those obstacles. Challenge courses resemble obstacle courses, but do not require any special athletic ability. Challenge courses are not settings for competition, but rather focus on cooperative efforts from the groups that participate on them. So challenge courses require teams to communicate, strategize, collaborate, delegate, lead, follow, respect differences of others, speak truth, and pull resources to succeed in reaching a common goal in each obstacle. Okay, next slide, please. So the purpose of a challenge course is to provide a safe and structured learning environment for groups to increase their awareness of how they actually work with each other. As opposed to other forms of adventure-based experiential learning, the structure of challenge courses aims to accurately and consistently address group issues such as communication, leadership, teamwork, problem-solving, diversity awareness, and acceptance. Also, individual issues such as commitment, critical thought, risk assessment, open-mindedness, inclusion, and tolerance. Next slide, please. Group events. So how can it be used for group events such as facility or faculty and staff divisions or departments, in addition to athletic or intramural team trainings or exercises on and off-campus organizations, freshmen, transfer students, or new graduate students, and could be used in the form or context of orientations, team builders, trainings, retreats, or in workplace exercises such as communication, leadership, strategy, delegation, etc. So what are the potential impacts? Next slide, please. Leadership development, team development, student development, environmental awareness, and collaboration. Campus impacts specifically include culture diversity awareness, environmental awareness, resource awareness, social inclusion and acceptance, contribution, or includes a contribution to organization and or campus culture development, value development, contribution to student retention, contribution to student success, and community impacts include more of the same, but more importantly, campus community face-to-face interaction, communication, contribution to positive association with our campus, and contribution to potential future community support. So campus recreation is offering a 30-element obstacle course. It will include 15 high elements and 15 low elements. Some of these elements include things like a team wall, where a group would have to work their way over a wall. These are kind of self-explanatory. There are a bunch of other obstacles included in this list that we'll put out with the meeting notes. Also include a team traverse, trust falls, things like that. Those are all low elements. High elements can include a climbing tower, a pamper pole or a trapeze jump, flying squirrel, spinning logs, floating islands, giant swing. These are all obstacles that require the team to work together to get through each obstacle. So, Richard.
Next slide. This is the one we give out. This is the meat of the subject. We were able to go forward with this project using our reserves. So we're going to build the course at no expense to the students because it's what we got to build up our reserves over the years that we've done stuff. So there's no expense to that. But my operation cost is not large enough to handle a totally new program. So we would have to give the cost back to the students to be able to use the facility. So we'd have to charge them basically what it cost us to run it as far as our labor for our people, those type of things out there. So that being said, we wanted y'all to give the students an opportunity to be able to apply for a fund through y'all that y'all will cover student organizations or students to be able to use the course for free, but apply through some kind of process with y'all to be able to do that. Because all organizations and groups will not be able to come up with the money to put themselves through that, but I don't want to restrict the number of students or the number of student groups or organizations that have access to the course because they just don't have the money in their budget or they can't get fundraised enough money to be able to do those type of things. So we're looking for those type of things. Basically, if you look at a half-day course, which usually what it is 3 to 4 hours, if you do a group of 80 to 20, it's $140. If you do 21 to 40, it's $280. If you have a large group, it's $420. That's the cost of you to do those for that amount of time. That's the cost basically of our labor out there. For the students that we'd have to be out there, the number of students we'd have to out there, for the facilitators, for the stuff. And I know y'all went through a retreat and y'all went through a ropes course over the summer, or fall, early fall. So y'all kind of understand what this is. The next thing is a full day. If you want to do a full day course, this is obviously, it doubles the price because going from, instead of being 3 to 4, it's 6 to 8 hours in the day. You come in, usually do something in the morning, which is a lot of low ropes, and build up to the high ropes in the afternoon after you have a lunch break. Those type of things. So that's basically a breakdown of the cost and what it would cost us to run those type of things. Then when you look at it on the next page, on the final slide, and this is just me throwing out a number. You can do however you want to do it. I'm leaving this up to y'all. I'm just making a suggestion of what an opportunity I'd like for y'all to move forward with, and y'all can do it however y'all want to. Y'all can vote on it, do that stuff. But if you wanted 20 groups at half day, it's $2,800. And if you say I wanted to provide 20 groups of a full day, it's $4,000. You can do 30 half days and 10 full, or you can do all half. It doesn't matter to me how y'all want to decide those type of things. The other thing I want to do is I don't want the money to come to campus recreation. I like the money to stay under student government in your reserve account or whatever pot you stick it in, and they apply for it through y'all. Y'all set up the application process that y'all feel comfortable with for the groups apply through it, and then once that group goes through and you approve them, then you would just transfer the money for that expense for that one group at a time that comes through it, so that anything's left over stays with y'all. I don't want it to be transferred and me have to transfer money back at the end that we didn't use or anything like that. I like for it to stay in y'all's reserve or anything like that. So that's what I'm proposing. Like I said, this is open for y'all. The thing about this is that we're way out from this. The ropes course is under. We got our RFQ meeting Wednesday with Spencer's on the committee with me to choose the vendor or the contractor who will build this. So we're going to move forward with that process. Then it has to go to the board for approval. Then it has to go through construction phase. So the ropes course probably will not be done until probably maybe April, May of next year. So we really don't need funds for this fall, and don't probably need funds for the spring. I don't know if y'all want to fund for the summer, that's fine, but it's really looking out to the fall. So I'm giving this presentation in time enough so y'all can have plenty of time to plan your guidelines of how people can apply, what procedures and processes they have to go through. But y'all have plenty of time to set that up so that when someone's ready to apply and we're ready to go, that all that stuff is already done out in advance. I didn't want to come and say, hey, I'd like y'all to do this for tomorrow. I didn't think that'd be fair for y'all. So I'm giving y'all a big heads up to be able to move forward with this process. So with that, I think we're open for questions.
Are there any questions? Senator Teeter.
Yes. Alright, where would this road course be located at?
It is going to be, if you know where the intramural campus recreation field, not the softball fields, the other one where you play the flag football fields are, just south of that, going toward Dave Ward. It's going to be in that open area. There's some wooded areas back there. There's a berm that's kind of dividing us between Dave Ward. We're not going to go past that because we really don't want to be visible to Dave Ward. So a lot of the low ropes will be in the wooded areas, and some of the open green space back there will be the high elements.
Senator Tribble.
Just a question on clarification. So
Sure.
the costs and potential costs listed here would be the amount of funds that SGA would potentially have to set aside for these RSOs to use the ropes course?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So and however you want to set up, however many groups you want to try to run through, or however many options you want to do, that's up to y'all. These are just the numbers that we came up with, and y'all can figure out. But this is the breakdown of what it cost us to run that group for those days. So then you can decide however many of you want to base off of that based on your fundings.
Any other questions? Senator Wilson.
Are non-UCA groups also going to be allowed to use this ropes course, or will it be exclusive to UCA?
We will have it open to outside groups because we will have to create revenue also to be able to help fund some stuff with that. But this fund that you're creating obviously is just for RSOs. So what you're doing is for RSO students only, and then if we do anything outside there, they'd have to pay us.
Senator Little.
Just another point of clarification. So
Sure.
the cost of reservation, would that be, for example, the 8 to 20 students or participants in a half day, would that be 140 for the entire group?
Yep.
Or for each
140 flat rate for all those people.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Hammond? Senator Tribble.
One more question.
Sure, no problem.
So the ropes course is not a hypothetical thing. This is something that is going to be built.
Yes, sir, because we already have a request for proposal out, and we've got 2 companies that bid on that. Like I said, Spencer and I and the gentleman Rick from Physical Plant is on that committee. We're meeting Wednesday to select the company, and then we'll go through negotiations with that company. Then they'll have to go through the board for their final approval, but I'm hoping that's just a stamp of approval, and then we'll start moving forward with the process.
Any other questions? Senator Spears.
Since I noticed there is a higher roads course, would there be any safety waivers or things associated with it?
Yes, yes, sir. We'll create the waivers and stuff they'll have to sign before any participant gets on the course. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Senator Weston.
Just another clarification question. Will there be any safety monitors?
Yes, that's what the cost is for facilitators to be able to put you through the course. So that's what the price is. It costs, we have our student labor, our student workers, and so that's a cost that it will cost us per hour to put those out there. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presenter is Mr. Anthony McMullen. He's an assistant professor of business law here at UCA and is also chair of the Faculty Senate Academic Affairs Subcommittee. So if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes.
And hopefully I will not need all 10 of those minutes. As I was introduced, I'm the current chair of the Academic Affairs Subcommittee for Faculty Senate. And this year we've been charged with making recommendations for the new Associate Vice President of Enrollment Services. And this is a position that we are currently looking for applicants in. As a matter of fact, I believe that one of you is on that search committee. So you are already playing a role in selecting that person. We've been charged with making recommendations, but we faculty members are at a disadvantage. And that primary disadvantage is that it's mainly the students that have the most exposure with the departments that are going to be under this new position, such as admissions, advising, financial aid, transfer, athletic advising, registrar, and I think there are about 1 or 2 other positions there. So the problem that we have as a committee is that we're making recommendations, but outside of a couple of those departments, such as advising, we probably need more information about your experiences with these departments in order to be able to intelligently make these recommendations. So I'm here for 2 reasons. The second reason is that I am hoping that a small group of you would be willing to come to one of our subcommittee meetings and basically talk about your experiences with many of these arms that are going to be under enrollment services. That way, we have a lot of the information that we need to make the recommendations that we're going to make, and it's our goal to have whatever report done by the end of January. But I'm specifically here to listen to you. I think I know what's going on with advising, and I certainly have my thoughts on it. But certainly, I want to know what you want. You know, what's the positive experience that you've had with them? What are the negative experiences that you've had with them? And quite frankly, are there what recommendations do you have that I can take to my subcommittee and basically we can use that information to formulate our recommendation? I know that there are horror stories out there. I've heard plenty of them, but I think that our goal here is basically to give information to whoever's going to be in this new position so that they can hit the ground running and hopefully improve all of these services for the benefit of the campus community. So I'm sprinkling this on you at once, but is there anything with the president's permission, is there anything that comes to mind that either they're doing very well and you want to see enhanced, or that you think could use a little bit of revamp as we look at this new process?
I'm going to offer some clarification before we go into if you'll have any comments. So Senator Marbley is the SGA representative on that search committee. So as we're kind of going through that process this fall, if there are other things that you think of outside of this meeting or outside of letting someone on exec know, let Senator Marbley know so that he can share that with the other members of that search committee so that when they are reviewing applications and then when they're moving on to the final interview process, he knows what types of questions that students want to ask these applicants that will be occupying this new role within the administration. So, are there any comments about any of those departments or divisions that will fall into this position? Senator Furion.
So speaking from personal experience, I was a student athlete here for 4 years, and the student athlete advising is, from what I understand, second to none. They are absolute true professionals, and they have taken care of us for years and years. And then when I hear about regular students dealing with their advisors, I feel as though the standard is not being met that they are able to uphold. So if you can somehow find a way to get that kind of implementation towards the student body, I think the entire student body would benefit greatly, because anytime that I ever needed anything, I went to my student advisors under the athletics, and it was handled that day. I didn't have to wait weeks. I had a true professional who didn't say, I didn't really know what I'm doing. So it was handled professionally, promptly, and to everyone's satisfaction.
May I ask the senator a question?
Absolutely.
What factors do you believe go into making student athlete academic advising special?
The fact that they had their academic advisors, that was their job. It wasn't a little thing in a teacher's head to where it was an afterthought and somehow they got some random kid that isn't even in their department. And that kind of worries me. These academic advisors can handle any major at any time.
So kind of the specificity in their role and knowing that that's what they do, they don't have to worry about other things, is what you think makes that so special.
Right, and so when programs changed, majors somehow just didn't exist anymore, they were on top of it constantly because they knew this is my task, this is my job, and they accomplished it every time. Any further questions?
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Ramirez.
Senator Advising. So, from my personal experience working in the academic advising office, I understand the hierarchy, the organization structure, and I do believe that the academic advisors do a great job of building a foundation for students, for classes, but there's not a clear bridge whenever students hit 60 hours or more as juniors. And those advisors that advise during junior, senior year are not held accountable, and so that's why they're not easily accessible. And I think bridging together like a clear bridge from sophomore to junior with the hours will make it much more clear, and having someone be, I guess, accountable for meeting with their students and making sure that they are taking the correct classes. But I do believe that the academic advisors are doing a good job creating a foundation for students, wanting to like kind of see where they're going with their education.
And I tell the body, because I'm sure that we're gonna get a lot of advising issues, that last year, faculty senate reviewed advising, and there was a report put out there. So the new ADP is going to get a copy of that report. So a lot of advising issues are already on our radar. It's good to hear them again. So I welcome this. Plus, I wasn't on the committee that produced that report, so I need to hear it as well. So, but know that that is something that we are looking at.
Any other comments? Senator Wilson.
As a member of the academic affairs committee, it has all of the academic college representatives on it, and so we work very closely with the pro-tem, and so when I feel like I was
The pro-tem.
I believe
Provost,
sorry,
okay.
the provost, I work with the two committees where we collaborate, and then like share ideas, because we're talking about a lot of the same things that you're talking about.
Okay.
And then also on the side note, as part of being a double major at Pembroke going to graduate school, I have 4 advisors and I've only seen 1 of them. And so like just, again, with what Senator Ramirez was saying, it's just like accountability and a lot of the things with advising. I understand that there was a report put out, but it's just maybe that report hasn't gotten to the students or maybe things haven't taken place yet. And I do acknowledge that the student athletes have a different registering date for the rest of us as well, being registered first. And so that means that maybe like classes won't get filled up, and so then it's just being able to address that, because you're having classes or have people specified, and just holding people accountable, actually maybe for student lobby.
Okay.
Student senate.
So that's the, so basically, that's the third time I've heard the word accountability. Or those concepts. So basically, so I'm hearing that you want to make sure that that's part of the process. Is whoever your advisor is, they have that advisor.
Any other comments? Senator Moore.
Part of that umbrella is going to be admission, so I am under the assumption that that would include graduate admission. Now, I'm saying I'm under the assumption, so not 100% sure. I think it ought to. I know that transfer services certainly falls under that umbrella, but I will ask and determine what happened to graduate. Now, that being said, as a graduate student, what issues have you had, or what's your experience been, either positive or negative?
Well, I've actually went to graduate school problem under that umbrella. I know sometimes it is thinking about whether you graduate school affecting certain courses, graduate school and citizenship, for example. We had some problems with math part, algebra part,
Okay. So I would at least, for the purposes of our committee work, I will at least first determine whether or what role this new position is going to have as it relates to the graduate school. But second, even if the graduate school wouldn't fall under this umbrella, I can see that there are certain issues that do fall within the purview of the APP that would affect graduate students. So maybe one of the things that needs to be on our radar is to make sure that the graduate students aren't ignored in whatever processes are going forward. So I'll make sure that that's on our radar.
If there are no objections, I'll suspend the rules for 5 more minutes for comments or questions. Senator Sierra.
So I was a transfer student, and like my process to transfer all the credits took me like 2 years to finish. So I don't know, like I don't have the answer, but like try to make that process less, slow. Just because I couldn't like even when I need to register for classes, I had to have those classes checked before. It was just a headache every semester.
May I ask, were you transferring classes from one university or more than one?
Sorry?
When you were transferring classes into the university, were you transferring them from one institution or more than one institution?
One institution.
One institution?
Yes.
2 years.
Yeah.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
other issues or concerns, you got a representative, please, make sure that the representative knows that. And I was requesting that student group, if you have an academic affairs committee, maybe that's the group that needs to connect with us. Our next meeting is October 23rd at 2:40, and if it is possible for you to be there, then I'd love for you guys to join us. Thank you very much. Take care, y'all.
Sorry if any of you saw the Thanksgiving kind of freaked out based off of what happened last week. That's not fixing to happen again, just to reassure all of you. I just couldn't think of anything else to type at 7:30 this morning, and that was the first thing that popped into my head. So I want to say thank you all for your patience as we were working towards some issues last week regarding the Vice President of Operations special election. There was some miscommunication, some misunderstanding on my part. So thank you all very much for just kind of waiting that process out for us as we kind of clarified and then re-verified some eligibility requirements for some members of Senate. So thank you all for your patience. And elections are live now, so make sure you're encouraging your constituencies to vote. The other thing that I have, can I get Senator DePersia and the returning senators to stand for just a second? So during fall retreat, when we broke off into our returning senator session, one thing that Dr. Tarka, Ms. Shar, and I asked the returning senators were what were some things, kind of a cheat sheet, if you will, to SGA, just kind of terms, vocabulary that we throw around a lot within SGA that you would need to know, and that's included with your agenda tonight. So thank you to our returners for coming up with these lists of kind of the most used words or phrases, and then of course the abbreviations, and then thank you to Senator DePersia for typing those up. So I just really wanted to thank you, the 10 of you, for helping compile this list, and then Senator DePersia for actually typing this up to get out to Senate. So thank you all. Vice President Garrity, will you please stand and raise your right hand. So repeat after me. I, and state your full name, do solemnly swear to uphold the duties and responsibilities of the office of the Executive Vice President of the Student Government Association at the University of Central Arkansas. Rose McGarity will now serve as the Executive Vice President for the SGA. And after the conclusion of tomorrow's election, if there's not a runoff, we will have a new Vice President of Operations. If there is, the new Vice President of Operations will be announced Wednesday afternoon. So thank you. Are there any questions? Vice President.
There were a few applications that went out for parliamentarian, sergeant of arms, and historian, and the parliamentarian is Senator Wilson, sergeant of arms is Senator Lockings, and historian is Senator Ivey. If you're appointed one of these positions, please consider me after the meeting. Just really quickly, we'll go over what your responsibilities are now. Hope to vote on these. You're not officially appointed yet, but that'll happen in new business. Info sessions. So if you're a newly appointed senator, come see me after meetings. Will be after the meeting with the historian, parliamentarian, and sergeant of arms. And it'll be like probably 30 minutes to an hour. Not sure how long yet, but we'll give you a crash course on what SGA is and how to be a senator.
Are there any questions for Vice President Beardy? Vice President Beardy.
So the tailgate, thanks for coming. For all of you who came, I think it was really, really fun, and I think it was a success. So hopefully it'll be like an every year thing. Senator of the Week. Okay, so this year, or this week, I'll go ahead and quote what was written down about her. But this senator deserves to be Senator of the Week because of the incredible dedication she has shown to the Fair Advocacy Group. She volunteered at the voter registration drive for several hours and has been a positive attitude in less than ideal conditions. She is always there when we need her and goes above and beyond to serve her constituents. She has amplified the traits of a model SGA senator, and this is Senator Harris. So. meet the administration. Okay. Okay, so this is Miss Sheila Vault, and she is on the board of trustees. And then we have Miss Elizabeth Ferris, and she's also on the board of trustees. And then we have Miss Kay Hinkle, and she's also on the board of trustees. So this is just another segment of who else is under the administration. Okay, Senator Fun Facts. I forgot to do this the last few meetings, but it's the thing we do every meeting. I'll give a Senator Fun Fact. It's something that you guys submitted in the application to apply for SGA, so I'm going to be looking back at those. And then you can guess, I'll say the fun fact, and whoever guesses it correctly gets a $2,000 card. So a lot's on the line. So this senator studied abroad in Italy this past summer. Senator Wilson? Yes.
Are there any questions for Vice President McGarity? Vice President Burton?
Hello. It's a Monday. We have, before you, okay, pull off this sheet. It's got the SAFA preliminary report information on it. And then go ahead and do me a favor, and when you look at the total amount considered line, if you'll add a 2, there should be 3 2s, be 222,000. But essentially, SAFA wrapped up last week, and the RSOs will be getting their allocations tomorrow, no later than 4 p.m. But this is essentially a little bit about what happened through the process. So we had 51 RSOs request and present funds. And the total amount requested via WorkSync was $262,844.89. The total amount considered was that $222,194.46 number, which should be another 2. And then the total amount available to allocate that we have that's constitutionally mandated is $124,250, and we allocated 100% of that. So let me give you a little bit more information. The difference that you see between the total amount requested and the total amount considered, that comes from some organizations not following proper process and were not considered for funding. In addition to organizations that ask for things that we constitutionally cannot fund, whether that be food or miscellaneous items that they had just added to their budget request that came up to that total. And in addition, there's several places where that number is not the total requested because constitutionally we can't fund over $1,000 for conferences, so there were some discrepancies there. Right, so total amount considered is total amount considered. Yeah, that's it all. That's all I've got. But I've got those dates underneath that box as well. So we've got the preliminary report today. In the minutes, there will be the detailed allocation sheet that'll show what they requested and what was considered, and then what they were allocated and that percentage and whatnot in totals. It's a very nice spreadsheet. It'll be in the minutes. And then next meeting, these organizations can appeal in addition to the next meeting, and that's the 15th and the 22nd. So on the 22nd, we will vote to approve what was funded. Cool. And then my second point was good old Carl. I don't know if you've all met Carl, but Carl's the name of our printer. And Carl's been with us a long time, and we thank him for his service. But there's something I'm going to bring up in new business about entering into another contract with Canon Financial Services, which is our provider, because Carl's made over 1.8 million copies over his lifetime and averaged about 40,000 a month. He's very used. So we're going to get a new and cheaper Carl, hopefully, if y'all decide to enter into that contract. So that's all I've got for you today.
Are there any questions for Vice President Burton? Okay, we'll go into standing committee reports. Academic Affairs, Senator Avi.
Yes, we meet physically, but we had meetings with our deans, so for our College of Education, College of Health and Behavioral Sciences, the graduate and undergraduate college, and they will meet with their respective teams, and just talk with them about what we can do to partner with them in SGA to help make their individual colleges better. So far, really the only thing that is going on with the graduate school talked about how the academic environment can be better, and college of education mentioned how Dr. Groscott would still enjoy having an umbrella for the picnic table there. That's all we've been doing over the past week.
Are Are there any questions for Senator Robbins? Thank you. Internal Affairs, Senator Watkins.
Hello. So the constitutional snippet today is from our special rules and gives you some background information on how to go about presenting a motion, because I figured I'm presenting one today, so I thought I'd tell you about how to do it. Also, I wanted to say that if you find something in these snippets that you have questions about or you think doesn't reflect what we're practicing now, that's what internal affairs is for, so please bring that to my attention. Today we will be motioning for the approval of the previous notice mentioned last week. It should have gone out in the minutes about the clarification for candidacy, and we are looking at big projects for the Constitution and internal affairs that I will be presenting to the advisors after Paul Gray, and then hopefully presenting to Senate.
Are there any questions for Senator Watkins? Housing and Food Service, Senator Kale.
So we met this last Friday and we had Vice President McGarity there, so she passed out some projects that we will be taking charge. We have sent out the band survey for band students and expanding cafeteria hours. That should be sent out this week. Mr. Douglas has received that and he's willing to work with us. We also narrowed down what goals we specifically want to focus on for the semester and the year, and we're also talking about having gym neighbors come and meet with us and we can have a little powwow. So.
Great. Are there any questions for Senator Kale? Diversity, Senator Martley.
Hello. So our last meeting was canceled, but I have been in contact with Ms. Shar and Dr. Webster about our involvement with the Civility Circle, so more to come on that, and that's all the rest of that's for you.
Any questions for Senator Sierra?
Yes. So international engagement asked me if we all wanted to participate in their International Education Week this semester. Yes or no? Again, like last year.
I think that would be a great opportunity for us to participate in. Let me speak with the committee and we can get back with you. Okay?
That's perfect.
Thank you. No problem.
Any other questions for Senator Martley? Student Fee Advisory Committee, Senator Peter.
All right, thank you. So we have sent out our memorandum announcing our fees and our hearing times and all that good stuff. Slowly but surely, I'm making the schedule back and just waiting on everyone to get back with me on that. And once I get that schedule together, I give it to y'all. That's all I got.
Are there any questions for Senator Peter? We'll move into ad hoc committee reports. Fair Advocacy Group, Senator Kilgore.
Yes, so we met last Wednesday at 3 p.m. and we're working on drafting a mission statement and purpose for Bear Advocacy Group. Since it's such a new committee, we really want to nail down what it is we're doing. And right now we have 3 main goals, which is education, empowerment, and advocacy. So we want to educate students about governmental affairs and current events. We want to empower them to get involved in the government, and we want to advocate for students in governmental affairs when something comes up that concerns UCA students. And we're going to start a Why Voting is Important campaign and put some flyers around campus in preparation for Election Day. And just general announcement, tomorrow is the last day to register to vote. So if you haven't done that, or if you know anyone, talk to us or a member of my committee and we can get you a voter registration form. So.
Are there any questions for Senator Kilgore?
Yeah.
Vice President.
Yeah. So speaking of voter registration forms, I've got a stack in the office here. So if anyone wants to come by tomorrow early, they can come by and fill one out.
So the forms must be postmarked by tomorrow. So as long as you get them in the mail, or if you want to register here in Faulkner County, you can take it by the county courthouse. But it has to be done by probably 4:30 before the post office closes tomorrow.
Any other questions for Senator Kilgore? Community engagement, Senator Sander.
So we're working with academic affairs with Senator Ivey on a food drive between the academic colleges, and we're looking at that the week of the 16th, starting after Veterans Day. And then we also just working with Vice President Burton on the Red Flag campaign, and I can't attend the meeting tomorrow, but we're gonna start on all of that, and I'm gonna draft people from my committee to help with that. And then this week we're not having like an in-person meeting because fall break, which then we have a week. So yeah.
Any questions for Senator Sander? Student Resources, Senator Persia.
Okay, so we met last Tuesday at 6 o'clock and then also today at 3:30, and that's whenever our meetings are going to be. So we discussed kind of what projects we want to work on this year. So we have free feminine products, checking out laptops from the library, cans in exchange for parking tickets, hammock farms and charging stations, free or reduced textbooks, transportation for international students, academic lounges, and fair essential boxes. So emails have been sent out for several of these projects we want to work on, and we're waiting on responses. And so given those responses, we're going to be checking for the viability of each of the projects. Yes.
Are there any questions for Senator Persia? Sustainability, Senator Street.
Oh, hello. Okay, so we haven't met again because we meet after Senate on Mondays, so I don't have much to add other than we got 3 more people added to our committee after they've been appointed. I don't have the list of those people yet, but I guess that's to be determined, and it will be added to a group message because RIP Slack at the end of the week. On top of that, if anyone has any ideas whatsoever, like a random brainstorm or anything about like how to make this campus a little bit more eco-friendly or things like that, please feel free to like stop me if you see me or send me a message or DM me on Instagram. However you want to communicate with me, I don't really care. Just throw something out there. I would love to hear it because, I mean, got a lot working up there, but not too creative. So if you guys want to throw something at me, do it. Thank you.
Any questions for Senator Street? Do we have any university committee reports? Any unfinished business? Any new business? Senator Watkins.
I move that SGA amend Article 3, Section 1 to clarify the qualifications for candidacy for the Student Government Association.
Second. It has been moved and seconded that the SGA amend Article 3, Section 1 to clarify the qualifications for candidacy for the Student Government Association. Discussion on the motion, Senator Watkins.
So one of Internal Affairs goals this year was to sort of eliminate a lot of the gray areas in our Constitution and sort of clarify things so that we can do what we're practicing and have that be reflected in the Constitution. And it was unclear of whether or not undergraduate students and graduate students and which positions they could run for. So our first clarification is to clarify the position to which undergraduate students are applying for and graduate students. So that's what this motion is for.
Any other discussion on the motion? would you repeat what is being proposed, for the committees?
All candidates running for any SGA office that is not specific to the graduate representative position must be classified as an undergraduate student.
Any questions? Senator Kane, or Senator Farmer,
Is this a clarification based on your interpretation of what the Constitution currently says, or is this an amendment to make that the case?
No, this is a clarification based on what the Constitution currently says. This is already in action, it's just not reflected in our Constitution.
any other discussion on the motion? Senator DeBerge.
Yeah, I'd like to make a friendly amendment to remove the comma from that because it's a comma splice.
Are there any objections to the friendly amendment? Okay. Any other discussion on the motion? Senator Therion.
I am curious as to why graduate students are forbidden from running for these positions.
Senator Watkins, yield to a question.
It's actually in university policy for RSOs that you can't represent a class that you're not in. So a sophomore couldn't represent the freshman class. So a graduate student can't represent freshman class, sophomore, junior, or senior class.
Okay. I thought this was referring to executive. My apologies.
Well, a graduate student couldn't be an executive member either.
And I'm curious as to why.
Well, that's just how it is.
Well, that sounds like an awful reason. Just being perfectly honest, I'm
Decorum.
big. My apologies. I yield my time.
Are there any other discussion on the motion? Senator Farmer.
Based off of the same discussion we had, does the executive president not represent the graduate school in a sense? He is the executive president of the student body here at UCA. So under that reasoning, he would not be eligible to be the president of the graduate school. So just again, we're trying to clarify. I think the student body or the Senate body needs clarification as well. I don't understand if that's the university policy. I believe that we would currently be at ends with that policy. And then just going off of what's in practice as what's proposed in the Constitution, I don't understand why we're at practice with something that's not in our specific Constitution. If there is an overarching university policy, then that's fine. This clarification is quite warranted, but I guess I'm just very confused on why it is we can have an SGA president undergraduate representing the graduate body.
Senator Watkins, would you like to yield to that question?
Yes. So prior to this amendment, and last year, we had a graduate SGA. So we did have a graduate student governing body that was different from us, but we figured since we also have graduate representatives, that body should be null and void because y'all are already here. But SGA body is based from undergraduate students. So our graduate representative is like our non-traditional representative in that your constituents are different from the undergraduate body. But our undergraduate representatives is why we can have exec boards from undergrad, but not from a graduate student. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna also yield to both questions from Senator Farnham and Senator Therion. So on page 2 of the Constitution, for those of you that have your senator packet and would like to flip to that page, under Article 3, the qualification for membership, it does specify that the Section 1, letter C, that the executive president, executive vice president of operations, and the vice president of finance of the Student Government Association must be classified as an undergraduate student. So the clarification for this motion is clarifying that a graduate student cannot occupy a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior class representative or officer position or an academic college position, since a graduate student already sits on the academic affairs committee, and then they cannot serve as a non-traditional student. So this is clarifying that all of our positions, with the exception of the 3 graduate student positions, would need to be classified as an undergraduate student per university policy.
Point of information.
Yes.
What
Senator
about
Sierra.
international students? Can they apply for the position?
You can be an international student and be classified as an undergraduate student.
What about grad students?
They're not classified as undergraduate students.
What the amendment we're considering now, what that is going to clarify is that with the exception of the 3 graduate representative positions, the language that is being added to the Constitution will state that if you are not undergraduate, you cannot hold any other position on the SGA except for graduate representative if you are a graduate student. Any other questions or concerns, confusion? Senator Triple.
Just for clarification, so I have an idea of what's going on. This amendment to the Constitution is to clarify the requirements for graduate students and specify that they can serve in the 3 seats allocated for grad students, and to codify a practice that has been tradition in SGA, that they don't serve in like freshman, sophomore, all of those categories. That's basically what this amendment is. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Is anyone confused? Senator Wilson.
Amendment up for discussion. So the way that this is worded right now looks as though it's specifically applying to the graduate students, but therefore it should also probably say or vice versa. And so then an undergraduate student cannot accidentally apply for the graduate spot, where it makes it look like it's not exclusionary to the graduate students. Because as it reads, it looks like it's only speaking to graduate students trying to apply for SGA, but it needs to be applicable to the undergraduates who might be accidentally applying for the graduate position as well. So like, or vice versa.
That will not be a friendly amendment because it's changing the meaning of the original motion. So if you would like to get a motion card and make an amendment to the amendment, we would love to do that. Any other comments, questions, concerns, clarification? Senator
I
Children?
think this is just a point of information. So maybe, is there like a maximum number of hours that you have to hit to still be considered like undergraduate, or is it just if you're enrolled in graduate courses, you're automatically a graduate student? Does that make sense?
As best as I understand, if you are not a part of the graduate school,
Okay.
then you're not classified as a graduate student, even if you're taking graduate level courses. If you have not achieved a baccalaureate degree,
Okay.
you are not considered graduate, you're still considered undergraduate. Any other questions? Senator Little.
So point of clarification, because, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing anything within Article 3 about the classifications of the graduate representative. Could this clarification be put into Article 2, Section 3, subsection B, where it actually talks about the 3 graduate senator representations? Could that point of clarification be added in that part of the Constitution?
It's talking about qualifications for candidacy for freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and those qualifications are in the article that it's in, so that's why it's placed above that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Is anyone confused about what's been discussed? Any other discussion on the motion? It has been moved and seconded that the SGA amend Article 3, Section 1 to clarify the qualifications for candidacy for the Student Government Association. Roll call vote, Vice President McGarry.
Beavers. Yes. Burton.
Yes.
Hill. Yes. Cheek. Yes. DeLuca.
Yes.
Persia. Yes. Farnham.
Yes.
Larson. Yes. Spears.
Yes.
Golden. Yes. Ryder.
Yes.
Harris. Yes. Ivy. Yes. Jones.
Yes.
Kilgore. Yes. Little.
Yes.
Lockings.
Yes.
Markley.
Yes.
Gary, I vote yes. Moore.
Yes.
Moore. Patel.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Probst.
Yes.
Ramirez. Yes. Ramirez. Yes. Okay. And And Sander.
Yes.
Scape.
Yes.
Savant.
Yes.
Yes, sorry about that. Yes, Mark represent, thank you. Sanders.
Yes.
Scape.
Yes.
Savant. Sierra.
Yes.
Spurgeon. Street.
Yes.
Teeter.
Yes.
Furion.
Yes.
Tribble.
Yes.
Tudor. Waitzman. Weston.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
With 40 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes. Is there any other new business? Vice President Burton. Vice President McGarry.
I move that the SGA appoint Senator Wilson as parliamentarian, Senator Lockings as sergeant at arms, and Senator Ivey as historian.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the SGA appoint Senators Wilson, Lockings, and Ivey as the parliamentarian, sergeant at arms, and historian respectively. Discussion on the motion. Vice President McGarry.
So as vice president, I was able to pick out who I thought would be best fit for each one of these. This is my selection, and if you see fit, you can go ahead and vote yes, or you can do, yeah. That's the selection I made, and we're gonna vote on that to approve them or not.
Any other discussion on the motion? It's been moved and seconded that the SGA appoint Senators Wilson, Lockings, and Ivey to serve as parliamentarian, sergeant at arms, and historian respectively. Roll call vote. Vice President McGarry.
Beavers.
Yes.
Burton.
Yes.
Kale.
Yes.
Sheik. DeLuca.
Yes.
DePersia.
Yes.
Farnham. Galarza.
Yes.
Spears. Golden.
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Harris. Ivy.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kilgore.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Lockings.
Yes.
Marbley.
Yes.
I vote yes. Moore, but Devon.
Yes.
Demetrius Moore. Malachi. Sorry,
Yes.
Moore. Patel.
Yes.
Probst.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Marco Ramirez.
Yes.
Esmeralda Ramirez.
Yes.
Sander. Scape.
Yes.
Safon.
Yes.
Sierra.
Yes.
Spurgeon.
Yes.
Street. Teeter.
Yes.
Syrian.
Yes.
Tribble. Tudor. Waitzman. Weston.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Young.
Yes. With 40 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes. Any other new business? Vice President Burton.
I move that the UCA SGA enter into a 60-month, $768 yearly base contract with Canon Financial Services, which will upgrade our machine with its successor, and provide color and black prints at $0.0443 and $0.055 per page, respectively. All funds associated with this contract are for general operations.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the UCA SGA enter into a 60-month, $768 yearly base contract with Canon Financial Services, which will upgrade our machine with its successor and provide color and black prints at $0.0443 and $0.0055 per page respectively. All funds associated with this contract garnered from general operations. Discussion on the motion, Vice President Burke.
So this is the action item that I discussed in my report earlier. Basically, what this is getting us is basically the upgraded version of the machine that we currently have at a cheaper rate. So the per page for black and color prints is actually reduced because it's a more efficient machine. And it doesn't change the yearly copy base price at all. So we're not paying anything more. In fact, we're saving money. And we get a new Carl. And after this, I'll be accepting names for its new name. Accepting applications for its new name. So.
Any other discussion on the motion? Senator Tribble.
Just clarification. So is this motion approving the purchase of, or just a statement of support of buying?
Right. So it is supporting entering into the contract. Second. Yeah, it's a lease agreement. It's not purchasing the machine. So it's an agreement. So it's payments over time. We're not having any capital out front right now. This expense has been going on for years. It comes out of the account general operations every month. So it's a yearly base. So it's a formality in the sense that we're changing from one contract to another, and so you should be aware that we're doing that. Does that make sense? Basically, it's unfortunate, but we've had over 10 service calls on this machine over the past year and then currently, and we just had a big fiasco earlier because it broke down. So I think for the sake of our students and making their experience in our office efficient, I think this is a good move.
Any other discussion on the motion? Senator Tribble.
Asking for clarification. So is the total cost more than the current amount, or is it just the cost of the maintenance that's lower?
It would be the total cost. Now, if you think about it holistically, so you've got your yearly base that hasn't changed, but your rate per page has changed, your total cost is reduced. So the total cost of the contract will go down. Yeah.
Any other discussion on the motion? Okay. It's been
Motion to approve by unanimous consent.
Motion passes. Any other new business? Do we have any announcements? So because I forgot to do this in my report, I want to thank our ideal patient line Clarissa for being here with us, being able to walk around and help And then just to go off of something that Senator Street alluded to, that we discussed in exec committee last week, Slack got the axe. So if you have Slack, you can get rid of it. We decided that it was just too much to try and transition kind of what we've been using as existing communication into something this new, and to have to go through and try and acclimate everybody to that. So Slack is no more. Thank you all for your willingness to venture into this with us, and we decided that we're going to go down the path we always go down. So because that's what it's working for us. The last thing, just kind of a housekeeping tip. So last week during meeting, there was some pretty excessive note passing. So just remember, when people are presenting, when we have members of administration and other divisions on campus come in to present, please limit your note passing during their presentations. It's very distracting, not only to our presenters, but exec and advisors notice the excessive note passing, and it's distracting to us. So please just keep a check on that. The ideal pages are informed when they come in that if there's a presenter speaking, if you raise your hand to kind of signal them for a note, they're not going to come up and get it because that's very disrespectful to our presenters. So just keep that in mind and always be mindful and carry yourself in a professional manner with the organization that we represent. Any other announcements? Senator Mobley.
All right. So Prism is having their annual drag show tomorrow. Their experience in the ballroom. So go out and support them. I noticed earlier I said something during the diversity section, and I said, oh, Corinne, what is a civility circle? So a civility circle is basically a safe space for people to come out and to discuss hot topics and controversial issues, and to transition our campus to be more proactive versus reactive. Sorry, I didn't explain that earlier, but there it is. And then lastly, I think I can say for all three of us, we would appreciate if you all would vote Vice President of Operations and tell people to vote as well. Every vote counts. Okay. That's it.
Any other announcements? Senator Berger?
Yeah, can Senator Jones and Senator Patel please meet me after Senate?
Any other announcements? Vice President Berger?
Yeah, could the SAFA committee meet for like 7 minutes in my office after this? It'd be really cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Dr. Carter?
Yes, if you are a freshman, look in your email box in the next couple of days for an invitation for a mid-semester debriefing. Let me know how your experience has been, and we can talk about academic troubleshooting. Just because I have to be cognizant that you need a 2.500 to remain on student government, so we can talk about how you're doing and see if there's anything that we can do to help sort you out.
Any other announcements? Since Senator Marbley brought this up, can Senators Marbley, Sierra, and Ramirez stand? Martha Ramirez, sorry. So these are the three candidates that are running in the Vice President of Operations special election, just so if you all weren't aware, which you probably were, but please make sure that you are voting in this special election and encourage your peers to vote as well, because we do appreciate their service on the SGA and look forward to having one of them serve in this position on exec. Any other announcements? This meeting is adjourned.
Probably not like that. I think it died.